Hello everyone. In this video, we're just going to quickly cover some Flexbox 101. So firstly, what is Flexbox? Uh, well, essentially, it's a fairly new CSS3 layout mode, and in the grand scheme of things, generally about 3 or 4 years that existed. And before this one, we only had four, and they were block, inline, table, and position-based mode. This is just a new addition. It is also known as the one-dimensional layout mode, and this is because the items can only flow or move correctly stated flex in one direction at a time. It focuses a lot on the sizing, distribution, and alignment problems that we have in layout today and simplifies them. So in a lot of cases, it's having to introduce a lot of CSS hacks that are well known out there, and also having to add extra HTML just to deal with some layout problems. So some of the known examples that are around out there are things like vertical alignment and even column-based layout where we want 3 columns in a row. And in next several videos, we're going to see all of these layout problems and how we quickly fix them in Flexbox. But before we do that, we're also going to see how they used to be fixed using the 4 previous modes mentioned. And just FYI, you may hear the term flexible box layout module, and that's because the W3C uses this in all the documentation. Now this is great in everything, but what we probably do really care about is how does it work? The best way to understand this is to take it step by step. So it all starts with one parent element, and this element is referred to as a flex container. Now, flex container can be any element in your HTML. In most of my examples, it will most likely just to be a div. Flex container will contain a number of child elements, and these child elements are known as flex items. Now, I might plug elements that go down on the screen, or inline elements that can go left to right. Flex items can go a number of different directions. And this is defined by something known as the main axis. So as you can see here in this example, the main axis is starting from the left hand side of the flex container and pointing to the right. This means that the items in the container will start from the very far left and start flexing towards the right. Now, what I mean by flexing is that items inside big flexing in container are flexible enough to adjust their size in the direction of the main axis based on the available space in the container. Set a large take in at this point, so don't worry too much about that. We will learn more about sizes and flex items later in this video. Now, the point where the flex items start flexing is known as the main start position, and opposite that is known as the main end. So in this case of this example, the main start position is on the very left of the container, and the main end is the very right of the container. Also, what you need to be aware of this terminology wise is the concept of the main size. And this is essentially the size of the container based on the direction on the main axis. For this example, the main size happens to be the width of the container. Now, always perpendicular to the main axis is the cross axis, and this axis is commonly used as aligning items inside the flex container. Although not obvious here, a flex item can be positioned along this axis and in a variety of different ways, and we will see this as well in a future video. Now, just like the main axis, the cross axis also has a cross start and cross end. It also has a cross size, which is the example happened to be the height of the container. Also, the cross start happens to be the top of the container, and cross end happens to be the very bottom of the container. Now, I know there's a lot to take in taking, but terminology is very important in Flexbox. So I recommend you spend a bit of time getting your head around all these stuffs, as it's important to understand this for the remainder of the videos. So just one more thing I want to cover here, and that's browser support. So pretty much Flexbox is well supported in all modern browsers. The only browser you might have a problem is Internet Explorer. Now, can I use it? It does say that IE 10 has support for Flexbox, but I'll tell you right now, it's using an older version of Flexbox, and IE 11 has a lot of bugs in it at the moment. So this is something to keep in mind when choosing to use Flexbox or not. So that's it for this video, and thanks for watching this video.